Hello all and welcome to The Resilient Worker. We're in a bit more of a corporate environment today to illustrate a point. It was probably about 5 years ago, right around when I first started my blog. I was working for another company and a high-level executive came down for a big sales pitch that we had. And it was my job after the pitch, which was successful if you must know, to drive him back to the airport. So in the course of the conversation, I got to talking about my blog, and he was very impressed. And he said, "Rob, you know what you should do? You should write about jujitsu." I said, okay, gotta be honest, don't know a whole lot about jujitsu. And he had no problem telling me everything he knew about it for the next 20 minutes. Anyway, one of the concepts he talked about was stepping toward the threat. So in other words, if somebody has a bat, you would think naturally step away from the bat. He said, no, step toward the bat, step towards that threat, and that will help reduce your odds of getting hurt. I thought, okay, that's interesting. I think I can write a blog post about that. Let me think about it. He goes, that'd be great. I said, okay. That night, it was ideal writing conditions. And what do I mean by that? Well, it was snowing outside, so it was cozy. On the inside, I had a fire going. I had a rather large glass of bourbon by my side, and it was quiet in the house, which is a rarity in the Clark household. So ideal writing conditions. And I sat down to write the blog, and nothing. The words just didn't come. It probably took me 4 to 5 hours to write it, and it was a struggle, and it felt like a struggle. Well, the next day I published it, and barely anybody read it. My audience all but ignored it. I got 0 comments on it. Got no love whatsoever. And I thought, well, that is devastating, and it was. But at least the one person I wrote it for will be impressed, and maybe I'll get some brownie points. So I sent it to the executive, and he called me the next day. He said, "Rob, you know, the title of your blog is Step Toward the Bat. What I was really saying is step toward the person with the bat. If you step toward the bat, you're going to get your head caved in." And he hung up the phone. So there you have it. I wrote this blog for someone else, not for my audience and not for myself. My audience all but dismissed it. The person who I wrote it for could have cared less. And I had wasted my time. And the point there hit me like a bucket of cold water, right? You have to write what you know. And if I'm not passionate about it, how can I expect my audience to be passionate about it, right? And I think that's a good lesson for all of us, including myself, as far as living our lives. Are we living our lives for ourselves? Or are we living it for someone else, for someone else's expectations, right? Are we doing things because they make us happy? Or are we doing things because they make someone else happy? I'm not saying to live a selfish life, right? We have others we have to take care of. We have to have empathy, right? But we have to talk about and write about and live the things we believe in. We can't live our lives for someone else. Okay? Just a little nugget for you. Really appreciate you listening. Don't forget, it's www.resilientworker.net. I'll check in with you all next week. Thanks again.